NFL PA is back, and we got Recurrier here to talk with us. And changes to the neighborhood rating, and we have the one and only neighborhood rating guru, Rodrigo, here to talk about all the changes coming to your neighborhood and how it's going to impact the game. And you definitely want to see who got their butt whooped in fantasy last week. Stay tuned for all those shenanigans and more.
The UPX Podcast with the property expert. If it's happening in Upland, it's the place you want to check first. With your host who's stupid to win and thank me later. Bringing the strategy, news, and cool charts with all the data. This is Upland, where the metaverse goes down. Genesis, San Fran, to Rio, and all around. Don't miss a week, you never know what they'll say next. It's the Upland Property Experts, baby, UPX.
Welcome to the Upland Property Experts Podcast, episode 252. I'm your host, Too Stupid to Win, and as always, I'm joined by ThankMeLater. How you doing, brother?
Doing all right. 252. That feels like an area code.
It could be. It might be.
Do you know any of the history behind area codes?
I think I heard about it a long time ago, but I just don't recall it.
Because I think the lowest area code is 212, and that would be in New York. And then I think it's like either 213 is like LA or Chicago, and 3. So all the low digits is because when they invented the area codes, it was back with the rotary dial. And so the shortest number was 1. And so 1 and 2, and then they had obviously reserved numbers. Like that's why it's 911. So it's like, make sure that you don't accidentally do that first one, but then you can quickly do the other two. It's really fascinating. So like the original area codes, it's all based on that. And then they did it. And then it was like, well, what is the most commonly used area code? And, New York was the highest population. So they got the smallest area code, so that way it'd be the quickest to dial. Not relevant anymore, but just a cool little fact.
Yeah. You see, you do learn something on this show every once in a while.
Every once in a while. I mean, I don't know, but it's only 9 people instead of our record-breaking 666 viewers last week.
Hey, just wait. Give it time. It will start to climb, and we'll see how that goes. I
heard Upland tweeted us like while we were live last week.
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember who I was talking to. Oh, you know what? I think I was talking to my girl Tara. Pterodactyl. And she was saying that because I was like, I don't know what happened. I think we got into like the Twitter, the X Hopper that was just like feeding the views. Very fascinating system there. I'm just here for another iPad.
Stay tuned.
I mean, I suppose. I don't know what's going on, but
it could happen. Not saying it
sure,
will
there
happen.
You go.
It could happen.
Technically, it could happen. We don't know. I see Recurrier in the back. He's holding up an iPad. I think Recurrier wants to give away an iPad. I mean, or maybe not. I don't know. But you guys should
that was just a piece of paper.
Anyway, moving on
to the most important thing of the week is right here.
Right. Oh, I knew you were good.
It's right there.
What? I just, I looked back at the last couple years and I realized that honestly, what I was doing to this league was almost bullying. Like I was just dominating so hard, and I felt really bad. You put a lot of work into not just the podcast, but also organizing this league each year. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to let him have this one. I know how much it means to you. So you know what? You can just thank me later.
Is that the way you excuse your pitiful performance? Is you just let me win, even though you had all your best players in your lineup? You made some phone calls and just saying, "Hey, I need you to take it easy this week."
Yeah, I called my boys and I was just like, "Yo, just dial it down." I might have, called the Make a Wish Foundation. I was just like,
Oh
I
Jesus!
don't know
The
how
Make a
long.
Wish Foundation. Anyway, you got your butt whooped by 20 points.
Yeah, it was embarrassing, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know what my team is garbage.
Now Franklin really put a stomping on Nisha, and he beat him by 45 points. So
Ooh,
at least you didn't also get the biggest blowout of the week in that
that's true.
spanking you
That's
took.
true.
So, no.
Wait, Tara told. Wait, I don't know if what. Okay, so first of all, if you don't interact with Tara, uh, Upland Tara, Pterodactyl on a regular basis, you're missing out. She is insane and hilarious, but she cannot be trusted with anything. Like, she is so tricky and crafty, and she says things so deadpan. It's wild, unbelievable delivery. So I actually don't know because I was like, oh man, that might have happened in the league chat where she said that there was a punishment for whoever finishes last in the league this year. And
Ooh.
so based on your reaction, I'm going to guess that was just another one of her ribbings, but I really like it. She said, whoever comes last in the league, we're going to get Boulder Magic to make an insane, crazy balloon hat, and they have to wear it to like the main event at Genesis Week next year. So like an elaborate loser dunce cap, and they have to wear it to Genesis Week next year in Vegas. So,
That could be interesting.
okay, so I'm guessing. Oh, that was another one of her ruses. She also,
Maybe.
well, no, obviously your reaction wasn't like, yeah, we discussed this in chat. The other thing, and because she was like giving me updates on Upland, and she was going through, oh yeah, we got that property, and she's like, oh, and they announced, she totally got me. She's like, and they announced that they're gonna do a new asset searching feature, and just like casually slid that in, and I was like, oh dang, I can't wait to go talk about that on the show, and she just started dying. She's like, no, that one's not true, and I was like, dang. Her delivery is so stone cold that I was like, you should have at least let me go on it, because I would have been like, yeah, what do you think about the new search? And we're like, what? I'd be like, damn it, she got me again.
That would have been good.
Yeah,
I'm
no
sad
new
that
search feature, but new neighborhood stuff
new neighborhood
and
stuff.
NFLPA stuff.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of excited, so we'll jump into that next. So we'll bring on one of the most passionate NFLPA collectors in Upland.
Okay, and before you do that, because we had talked about before the show, because I don't want him to come on and feel like I'm leaving because of him. And I know that last time he was on, I jokingly did that. I actually really do enjoy Recurrier's insights on this topic, and I'm sure you guys have a packed show. As I mentioned, I have some. My partner is sick; she is in bed, and I need to go. I'm just going to go take care of her. But I'm going to leave you with all of these amazing. I mean, you have some amazing presenters coming in, so I'm very excited. I might even just leave it on in the background. Give you one more of your next 666 viewers. But yeah, until next week, I will catch you guys around.
All right, you guys get better. Thanks, man.
Oh, I almost hit end stream. That's real funny because that's where the leave is. I almost hit end stream instead of just leaving. Oh, that would have been classic.
Oh, that would have been good.
That would have been so good.
That would have been so good. Like,
the show does not go on. That's not how this works.
I'm leaving, so it's done.
All right, cheers.
All right, have a good one.
Oh, he's here. I'm out.
He's here.
Your mic's very low, Recurrier.
Is it? Oh, I don't know what to do about that. All right, is that any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So first off, I got to rep New York. Our last decent QB, Eli. I've got my
But
Eli jersey on.
he's like the Trent Dilfer of the Giants.
I don't know. He's the only guy that beat the GOAT, as they say, in the Super Bowl twice. So
That's true.
that's true.
That is true. You see, your dog even believes he's garbage.
No, he was cheering. He was saying, Eli!
Oh, that's what was going on. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry about this Sunday that they're going to lose. So, I mean,
Oh, they're going to lose all the time. My dog's name is Cooper, so he's definitely a Manning fan.
there you go.
So, yes, they're going to lose. I couldn't believe they lost a game where they had Hey, Koopy. They had 3 touchdowns and their opponent had 0 and they still lost. That's an amazing feat.
Absolutely.
Washington with 7 field goals. So I don't know, whatever. But
Season 4 is here of NFLPA.
yes, so there is a lot going on. There's some good surprises and there's some disappointments. Definitely, they took some of the community feedback to heart and made some changes. I think one of the biggest positive changes is they finally have helmets. Got rid of baseball caps.
I was so excited to see that they went with the helmets because I know Mars and myself have ripped on them for years about like the backup QB wears a hat and that's it. So why do we have hats? Let's get some helmets.
Yeah.
Now they won't have the team logos because it's not the NFL, so they don't have the IP, but at least they're helmets.
Yes. Huge improvement over baseball caps. The jerseys are a little bit different this year. They've got like a 2-tone. So they're trying to make the jerseys. If you go back and look at the different years, the jerseys are slightly different each year. So there was an attempt. So that was good. So they kind of changed around a few things. The team fan challenges, where they used to have multiple of those throughout the year, it looks like they just have one for the year long. I think that's how they fixed the whole breaking and remaking collections. They were like, all right, well, since we're not sure how to fix this technically, we'll just make it all a year-long challenge. And those team challenges only count your 2024 legits, which is also a change.
Yes.
Be good for some, bad for others. The global fan score still counts everything,
right?
All the years. So that's good. The rewards this year are not great. They actually cut out all of the UPX rewards. And so it's just Sparklet and Block Explorers for most people. The Block Explorers are a little confusing. They kind of look like angry fish chewing on a lawn. But I think they're intended to be some kind of football. It's like it's got laces on the top of the head. So I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm looking at the article for the fan challenge right now, and it shows 4th through 10th place gets 25,000 UPX.
So for the global fan score challenge.
Oh, the global fan score. Okay, gotcha.
There's no UPX. It's just Sparklet and the Block Explorers, and then
trophy.
There's the trophy for the first place and the truck, which is arguably the biggest thing of value. You can go back and buy the last 2 years trucks for about $1,000 a piece. It'll take every bit of that plus a fair bit more to finish in the top 10 for global. So really the global fan score challenge is it's for bragging rights. There's no financial incentive really. Even if you go for the first place, it's only 1,000 Sparklet. So that's the other thing. They kept all the Sparklet rewards based on last year's Spark, but right now Sparklet is like 6 cents a piece. So that 1,000 Sparklet is like a $60 reward for first place. So I had thought that they would scale the Sparklet based on the
Based
the
on
value
the
proposition,
value.
but that doesn't seem to be the case. So you are right though that the team fan score challenges, they do have some UPX rewards for those, and it looks like the Block Explorer is kind of cute for that one. It's like a giant football bobblehead, so that's kind of fun. So that's all to say, if you are in it for specifically the NFLPA challenges, you're really in it for bragging rights. You're in it because you're an NFLPA fan. Now, what they did do that was really good, yes, the road to the big game. This is really expanding it out to a whole lot of other people.
This kind of excited me, and I was like, ooh, I really like what they're doing here. It's kind of going to get a lot of people involved this year, I believe.
Yeah, and there's some strategy to it, especially up front. So there is a ton of Sparklet. If we hit all of the staking goals, there is 3 million Sparklet in the award pool.
Correct.
And that's quite a bit. The real strategy with it is they are taking a snapshot on October 2nd. Whatever your highest overall global fan score for any given team at that time is who you're committed to for the rest of the season. So between now and October 2nd, you have to figure out what team you want to commit to. On top of that, the first passes, and therefore all the mementos and the ability to fill most of the 2024 collections, that first pass opening is September 30th. So between September 30th and October 2nd, there might be a lot of movement on whose top fan scores are where. Now, what a lot of people I'm talking to, because all of the passes started
Today.
for sale today, and a lot of people are sitting back and they're like, well, I don't know what team I'm going to commit to because I want to be able to participate in one of the top teams with the road to the big game. So they're trying to figure out who is both an NFLPA whale and a Sparklet whale.
Right.
And what teams they're going to represent, which is kind of interesting. Now, go ahead.
I was going to say, where are you going with this? Because I know you got a big collection. I know there are a handful of people with big collections. So where do you actually end up with the Giants, and who else is in the Giants? How does that work for you? Somebody that's collected as hard as you have.
So I'm in the Giants by a ton. I would have to liquidate a massive portion of my Giants collection to get down to where my second place is, or I'd have to spend a massive amount. My second place team is Buffalo, and I would have to spend a massive amount to bring them up to where they would be first place. I'm not interested in doing either one of those, so I'm committed to the Giants, and that's okay. I've got a fairly good amount of Spark, and as soon as this got announced, I went to New Orleans and swept the floor pretty hard. So as soon as that started, I've got like 80,000 Sparklet in New Orleans right now and trying to get it going. I also know the other biggest Giants fan, he's going into it as well because he's, same way, pot committed with Giants. And then there's a pretty big drop off to third place for the Giants. He and I really make up most of the leaderboard there. But I'm recruiting for Team Giants. Definitely go out there, get some Giants legits, and commit to staking. A couple people mentioned Dizzy by name. They're like, he's got a ton of Sparklet. He's got some NFLPA. Let's see where he ends up.
I don't even think Dizzy's been so busy. I don't even think he's paying attention, or has somebody reached out to him?
Yeah, I don't even know if it's on his radar. The other thing is, like, there might be some Sparklet whales, but some of those Sparklet whales might be like, yeah, I don't really care to stake in New Orleans.
Right.
So I think there's going to be a lot of gaming. Now, the thing that's interesting about it is it goes by your global fan score. So it also counts older legits, the 2020 through 2023.
Right.
So if you're looking last minute to pump up a particular team's fan score, you can look to those old ones, and that's exciting. It gives a market to some of the some of the older ones, but that market falls off after October 2nd because that's when the snapshot is. So then it's all about staking after that. Now, the interesting thing is it looked like all teams will place. Let me see. Yeah, so the top team earns 32 points. Each subsequent team earns one less point down the rankings. Team leaderboard will be updated every Wednesday during the season. And then at the end of the season, top-ranked teams will share the Team Challenge airdrop. So whoever's first place gets 50% of the Team Challenge airdrop, which could be as high as $500,000. So if you're on that, you're in good shape. Second place gets 30%. Third place gets 20%. Then there's the individual staking award pool. And I think that one's a little less clear how that works. I think it just has to depend on how much you staked.
And wow, I'm actually surprised there. Looking here, I thought TM would be Cleveland as hard as he went, but actually he's Los Angeles #1.
Yeah. So what are you looking at? You're looking at
I'm looking
last
at the
year's?
road. No, I'm looking at Road to the Big Game,
Mhm.
and then it tracks a Spark Hour staked in New Orleans. So it's people that have it staked right now, and it's showing
Oh.
right now who their team is. So here,
Got it. Yeah, let's bring that leaderboard up because I did not know that was already.
yeah, hold on. Here we
already
go.
up.
Oh, let me find it.
So it looks like Danny P 2000. I'm gonna have to reach out to them and make sure they stick with New York #1.
Uh-oh.
I'm up
What
at
did I do?
12th place.
Where did it go? Did I close it by accident?
I don't know.
Oh, never mind, because it's not a web page. It's a. All right, give me a second.
Yeah.
Window. There we go.
Yeah. So Lockie with Tampa Bay
Yeah.
is killing it.
Right.
He must have a ton of spark.
Yeah.
Jets in second place. Interesting. Well, not necessarily in second place, but they have staker #2 and 6.
6. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to go pretty big.
So it's kind of interesting where it is right now.
So this is impressive because I have 1,600 points. I got my spark on there pretty much within an hour of when it started. I got a ton of spark staking in New Orleans. And Lockie has almost 10 times my points, which means he is staking at least 600, 700,000 spark.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm curious right now. I'm going to look this up real quick. I've got a fair amount staked. Let me see. Here, let me click on my staked. So New Orleans, there's 20, there's 22, there's 30. So between those, I'm over 70,000 staked in New Orleans, and I'm just waiting for a couple other things to finish up that I had started before this challenge. So if I'm over 70,000 and he has 10 times as much as I have, he's up around 600, 700,000 staked.
That's insane.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Now, and I like what they've done here, because you're building out a city. You're having a bunch of people build out a city, which is amazing.
Yeah.
That's a new concept that they haven't. We always said, what are you going to do to attract people to a city? Now that you're attracting people here to the city, now what are you going to do to retain it? You're going to build it up. It's going to look pretty cool with all these buildings built in there. And this is going all the way till February. So there's a lot of staking to go on. And they talk about they have the tiers for the rewards aspects of it. If 10 million spark hours are staked, individual staking awards, 500,000 spark, with team challenge award, 100,000. At 20 million spark hours, it ups it to 1.25 in the total pool, 1.25 million sparklet. And then if 30 million spark hours are staked, it takes the total pool up to 2.5 million spark hours, and then 500,000 for the team challenge award pool.
Yeah. The other interesting thing is they said limited time structures will be coming just through random parts in the season.
Yep.
And so I'm curious what those limited time structures look like. Those could be kind of cool, because New Orleans, I don't know if they're going to go with like a jazzy thing or whatever. Could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, they got a lot of awesome architecture in New Orleans, a lot of history, and a lot of different things they could design themes around, maybe for specific neighborhoods. It will be very interesting to see how Upland rolls that out, and everybody loves the unique structures. Now, that's the other thing. You got to have some at least available to. Now it's a lot easier because you can go on the exchange, buy your sparklet, and bring it in game to stake. But before
Right.
you'd have to make a decision, you'd have to wait for a spark week to come in. So it's easier now. You don't have to make strategic decisions of how much do you stake there.
Yeah. Well, so this also has a badge. So tell TML he's got to get on board, figure out what team he's repping. And then, yeah, so it's a little unclear how they're calculating the individual rewards. They just say there's an individual pool, and then they get into a lot more details with the team challenge. So I suppose the individual will just be your points over the total points, and then you'll get that percentage of the spark.
That's the way that I was
Yeah.
thinking it would work.
Yeah. Oh, so it looks like, based on Looker Studio, there's 727 people participating now. If you're not participating yet, go out and at least get. I mean, all you really need to participate is one NFLPA of
Right.
a team, and we'll see how they break up, the rewards. But assumably, the more of any given team that you have, the more rewards that you'll get.
Oh, that's a good question. If the spark hours are counted, can we destroy the builds and rebuild it to rack up the spark hours?
That was a question I had too. And that's something that is not clarified. It just says total spark hours, put in. So the only way anybody's going to know is if they build a building and then they knock it down and they see if their total points go down. Because if they don't, you could just get 2 or 3 properties and build and knock it down and build and knock it down and build and knock it down and rack up points. And that's an interesting take. And I wonder if Upland had considered that, if they put that into their programming. I wonder if while Dirk's at the gym, he's going to be like, oh crap. So, Dirk, check with the devs. See if they accounted for people knocking things down and building them back up, and if those rewards are going to stack. I don't know. We'll see. It would be interesting to look. I know when this came out, I went to New Orleans. I went to UPX land and started buying right away. I actually got a couple at zero markup in UPX. There were one or two right at mint price.
Oh, wow.
And then there were a ton, like 111%. There was just a massive list of markup. So the markup wasn't bad. And then USD markup was down at like 40% or something where it normally is.
Yeah. Currently the floor is 125% for the markup in UPX. And if you're looking in US dollars, the floor in the markup is actually coming up at 45 it goes 45%, and I believe that person's in jail because the next one's going to be 52%. So it's come up.
Yeah. So the floor is coming up. I think it'll be interesting once they start putting out the custom structures or the limited time structures, because then you're not going to want to build that and knock that down.
Right.
I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's a good play. I think it's a way to get a lot more people interested than would normally, but it's very short-lived. The NFLPA portion of it only really matters until October
2nd. Yeah.
And you may even see a liquidation event after that, where people got what they needed to get their snapshot, and then they're like, well, I don't need these legits anymore.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see how the market reacts to that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, this is cool. I like what they've done here. I think it's a good addition. I think it brings a lot of people in, but I don't know how much value it actually brings to the legits.
Yeah.
It gets people involved though.
And I hopefully next year, I know I mentioned it, right before G Week, but you need like receiver gloves and the pants and the cleats. You can do a little variable with legits and make some of them a little more rare, or change up the team colors with the gloves, so they can have a little more fun. And hopefully they continue to show the NFLPA that it's a good partnership that they have, and they can continue to grow it and do some things that are fun, brings value to the collections, and grows the fan base around it, and brings new people into Upland, bringing the sports collectors into Upland.
Yeah. Now, there's still potentially a bunch of upside, right? This is what they've announced the first week. I'm hopeful they've got some more things coming on. They haven't said anything about what is it? The replicas. So they tested the replica blending last year. They haven't said anything more about replicas this year. So I'm hoping there's something else there to come later in the season. Also, one thing I really hoped was that they were going to do some kind of burn event with the block explorers, because some of the people that participated had you would get block explorers for each team, so you'd end up getting several block explorers. And I know some of the big guys probably got like 10 of the same block explorer, right? So I was hoping there was something interesting where it's like, go get a 2022 and a 2023 block explorer and put those together. So Wizzo says, what about a layer 2 game with NFLPA legits, like a fantasy league with player versus player?
Unfortunately, you can tackle that if you want.
Yeah. So they're super limited by the licensing of NFLPA. And so not only can they not do a fantasy league in the way that we think of fantasy football, they also can't allow a layer 2 to do that. So certainly someone could go and program it and put all the effort in, but they wouldn't really be allowed to have a dev shop, and if Upland found out about it, Upland would need to say you can't do that, and maybe they could cut off API access and different things like that. So anything that looks like fantasy football, like you can get on ESPN or whatever, it's not going to happen because of licensing agreements. Though I do think there are options for other layer 2s that are just like a completely separate thing that's like would be a non-licensed thing. There's opportunities there, but somebody's got to find the incentive to design a game, get it okayed by Upland, get it okayed by NFLPA, and then develop it, which is kind of a tough needle to thread.
All right. Anything else on NFLPA before we move on to the next segment?
I don't know. Keep tuned. keep tuned in. I think there's going to be more that comes, and if you are going to participate in this Road to Big game, remember April 1st and 2nd are the keys. Get in, pay attention April 1st and 2nd, see who the big stakers are, and make sure you're positioned for the
April? You mean
snapshot. October. I'm sorry.
How are you?
My
even
brain's
in
a little mush. Yeah, I don't know how I got to April. October 2nd. So position yourself for October 2nd. That's when a lot of the gameplay and the strategy comes into place. And then once October 2nd is passed, then it's all about the spark. So good luck to everybody. And hopefully we'll see some more cool stuff as the season goes on.
You got the time to stick around to talk about neighborhoods too when I bring Rock on, or you got to go?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited that they've added the new neighborhood enhancement, and it's really cool.
All right, let's see here. Let's get Rock Trigo on. There we go. Boom.
All right.
See. What's going on, Rock?
Yeah. Do you have? I have AirPods somewhere. Hold on. Yeah.
Check. Did you want to come on for this discussion too, or are you good just hanging backstage?
Yeah. Come on.
Okay.
Let's see what happens here. Hey everyone. Hey Swarley. So this morning, Shaq
Hey,
surprised.
Hey.
Shaq was checking everything in Upland as usual, and she found out that she got into second place, and she was like, and yeah, so that happened today, and
That
and
is
we
a
were.
crazy chart.
It is. It's a massive increase. Evergreen Lesser 7 or 8, they haven't decided yet, I think, are above St. James's. You remember St. James's went skyrocketing? Well, Evergreen is already above them right now. And we were wondering what was happening. And well, I told Shaq, I was asked by X1 about some feedback on the next ratings, and well, I hopefully or apparently did a good job, and they really changed them. So there are new neighborhood ratings, and there is already the next step for the from the standard to limited collection status competition. The kind of important things about this is that they have shortened the amount. Well, no, they have how do you say? They have seasonalized. They have adjusted the
For larger neighborhoods, they've put a curve in there so they can compete with the smaller neighborhoods.
also that. I love seeing Portage Park at 9th place. That was one of my biggest feedbacks for them. I'm really glad that they implemented it. Paid cents are counting now. Ornaments are counting now. Love your neighborhood. Visit it as much as possible. That's all in the new ratings.
So
I
that's
like.
what I'm very curious about. There is the paid sends. They now count. So a lot of people, they have their properties, but you're just going to trade UPX. Like, all right, everybody in the neighborhood who, I can do 20 cents a day. Awesome. A lot of people are going
Yeah.
to max out their sends, just send it, which is good. It's going to be interesting, but and I can see neighborhoods working out that, hey, Rock, I'm going to use all my sons on your property. Okay, too stupid. I'm going to use all my sons on you. So we just we wash our
Sure.
UPX. It's no, you don't gain anything. I don't gain anything, but our neighborhood, we get paid sends. So I wonder what kind of tweak's going to be there. Cause that was the first thing that I thought is like, oh man, I said, the neighborhood, you just get together and everybody figures out who's going to send to whose property. So nobody loses any UPX and
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully they understood my idea, and that's encapsulated into a bigger element and part of the algorithm. And that's why doing sense in a small hood like Bronxdale or Quailwood will hopefully give a little bit more points than sending sense in Portage Park.
right.
Or in Queens, because in Queens there's a heavy Queens, LA, Chicago, London. There's a heavy hunting web. So yeah, hopefully they did manage to account for that inflation of cents.
Yeah. Now, here's the key thing there that people need to understand is there is now going to be 2 neighborhood competitions starting
Yes.
on October 1st. There's everybody that has got their neighborhood collection already, and you're in the upgrade challenge. They announced this
And-
when they brought out the neighborhood ratings when that first came around. Now you have enough neighborhoods in there. They have created this upgrade challenge. And I do like that if you finish in last place 2 months in a row, you lose your neighborhood collection and you got to go compete for it again with everybody else in the normal collection challenge.
Yeah. I
Go ahead. I heard some complaints about that, and all of this work on my neighborhood, and they are just downgrading me. Well, yeah, it's 2 months in a row of being the lowest. That's not caring about your hood or anything.
Yeah, I'm very interested in how this. I was very, very interested all along. How was the upgrade path going to be handled? There is some people have found their ways to get up into the hoods by just spending the most amount of money, right? And just all right, fill every property with random map assets and certain other ways. And this seems to be more aligned to more real neighborhoods, real activity in the neighborhood, a whole bunch of things that seem to be more community based that I like. And there is an incentive to keep it going. So the ones that go in and just like, I'm going to dump 1 million map assets here, and then as soon as I get my collection, I'm going to go move somewhere else. That's now not going to be a good plan. That's going to be detrimental. You're going to have to continue this progress forward. And I think it's really fair how they did it. I like how they allow the top 3 to move up. It's not just one hood per season. So I know all of us on me, Shaq, Rodrigo, all of us have struggled over this, past year, more than a year, really, since that summer. And that huge letdown from being in second place is like a punch in the gut. So I really like this model. I like that.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Yeah, Wolf is correct. You don't lose your collection. You're just removed from the upgrade leaderboard, and you have to win.
Yeah.
You got to place on the neighborhood challenge leaderboard to regain entry into the upgrade.
Right.
But you do lose the upgrade, don't you? I mean,
yes.
The
you lose multiplier. Yeah.
You lose the multipliers.
It's a constant battle if you want to keep an upgraded collection status.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's also really interesting how they did, like, instead of you get this upgrade, you get a multiplier upgrade, and you have to accumulate enough multiplier upgrades to jump up to the next one. I was nervous about how this was all going to work out, and I think I'm a pretty big fan of the system they came up with.
You know what my favorite part about the changes they're making is that structure ornaments are now going to count if you apply them in season.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That has been missing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just not Upland created, it's user created also. And as long as it's with the season. And this is something we have talked about since the very beginning, that, when we get to this upgrade, it's going to make some tough decisions, because a lot of us have worked together to get certain neighborhoods into the collection. Now you're going to have to pick and choose of, where am I going to rock? Where is my home address? Who am I going to help build it? Because you can take your collection, you can take your neighborhood and take it all the way up to an ultra rare collection. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to happen overnight, because after you win one, you have a cool off. So so it takes a while to move up by that 0.3% each, or 0.3x each time that you win it. And you have to show progression, because even though you're in a cool off, you have to show month over month over month. So I'm interested in your cool off, is if you dip and you don't have any growth, what's going to happen there?
Yeah. Just one more caveat to assist with the whole idea. Collections that are already standard blue but have not didn't got that collection status from the leaderboard challenge, they are not going to participate in these challenges.
Correct.
But yeah, glad you are most positive about the new ratings. I did see that they have implemented several of my suggestions, which I really liked. Tenure is a great part of it. But yeah, it's definitely a great pavement to that ultra rare status that we all would like someday.
And I know Rock's suggestions of, weighting the neighborhoods based off of the size, because it's unfair, and Shaq's hopes and wants, along with other players, of having the ornaments count towards it. These were all ideas submitted and fed back to the Upland team. So they listened, and they took the players' considerations into account, and, took ideas and incorporated them into the game.
Yeah.
Thank you for being the voice of the player, Rock, and bringing this to them and getting some changes made.
Yeah,
Very
thanks for them for asking for the feedback since the beginning. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I saw the same for NFLPA, in that once you organize the feedback, once you put it into a way that they could digest it, and it wasn't just like Discord people just bombing them. People kept saying, we're giving feedback, but the feedback got lost. And a lot of the things I think that they could do with NFLPA, and obviously also for neighborhoods, once they got the feedback in a way they could digest it, the things that they could implement, they did. I mean, there were some things that we asked for, I know on NFLPA, that would have been huge development changes. So they couldn't get those, but I really like this. I like that the standard that they gave us for like Merced Manor and all the ones that have gotten in already was a 1.3. And so both first and second place in harvest season of existing ones will have the opportunity to get that 1.5 and jump up to a limited. So we can see 2 new limited collections in harvest season for the existing. There's however many there is. Do you know how many, Rock? There's like 14 or something. We've already gotten through.
In April, June, July, August, they should have 15.
15.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to keep getting interesting. I like the seasons. I kind of like, for me personally,
I
I'm a
don't
bit-
believe there is going to be two, because we're unfortunately working with mathematics here, and they are just showing a 0.3, 0.2, and 0.1. But if you read the announcement, it goes from something to 2.99. So
Well,
the
I'm
other
looking at it.
one
It says
might
the
not.
earnings boost when you get up to 1.5, you get limited.
Yeah.
So
So
if
they
you're 1.3 and you get plus 0.3, that's
now you're going to
1.6.
get plus 2.99. You're not going to reach
Oh, really?
15.
Oh, so that's in there? I didn't see that. I thought it was
A
like
little bit
actually.
above that.
So in the upgrade challenge, if your neighborhood finishes first, you get a 0.3x multiplier, and the base for the challenge is 1.3.
But
So
go
that would
above,
take you to the limited.
and it says
And then now, if you finish in last place, you will lose on your multiplier. So your 1.3 will become 1.2.
yeah. But if that's because
And what
that
Recurrier,
variable just
well,
has one decimal. If
what,
you
what,
look,
what Recurrier was trying to say that there were going to be two in the next season is because all the neighborhoods that have earned a collection status, they have a 1.3x multiplier. So first place gets 0.3, which will take it to a 1.6. And then second place will get 0.2, which will take it to a 1.5, which makes it a limited purple collection.
1.49.
Well, I think so.
Yeah,
This
so what you're missing, Rock, is you add 0.2 to 1.3. That will make
It's
the second place.
1.49. It's
But Rock,
0.19.
that's the standard. You're getting 0.2. So 1.3
We'll see.
plus
But yeah,
yeah, I
1.3
think
plus 0.2 gives you 1.5. So that gives you a limited. So you'll have the first
if you
place
increase
neighborhood's
the
going to be.
decimals in that table, it will give you less.
I think well, maybe I'm guessing that the part that
It's a
Rodrigo is
little bit
referring
above
to,
that. That says
if you scroll up, it says earnings boost can
2.99.
range from 1.x to 2.99.
Yeah.
And
So
so
it might be
I think
1.99.
we're interpreting it two different ways, because if you go
Yes.
back down to the table, the standard where you start at 1.3 but you can lose the 0.1s, they're saying if you keep losing, you'll get all the way down to a 1x. You'll
And that-
still be a standard, but you'll only be a 1x.
Correct.
Because that only has one decimal, and the paragraph above has two decimals.
Yes,
Yeah.
but the chart
And
that
then
they're
they're
showing
saying
your
the earning boost
change.
range. Yeah, I think they're saying the earning boost range, if you go up to ultra rare colored gold, that can only go up to 2.99. And I think that's what they're referring to. Your range goes from 1 to 2.99.
Yeah. So
But
Okay.
we'll
here's your
see.
different
Good.
here's your
We'll
different
see.
rarity levels. So yeah,
Might be.
I think it's a good thing to get a clarification on.
Yeah,
It's
increase those decimals.
yeah.
Make sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because in the first one where they're ranking, they say first is 0.3, 0.2. It only goes to the 10th.
right,
So if everybody starts at a 1.3
right.
and you can only go up or down by a 10th, what's the point of putting 1.49 or 1.89?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Maybe I think it's just they decided to write it that way and it made sense to them. And maybe we're just overthinking it now.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Is you're just going up 0.3. So we'll see how it goes. But it
We'll
looks
see.
like
Yeah.
two limited collections can happen. October's will be a fun
November 15th.
Yeah,
because
but October starts, so it's going to be a fun month till November 15th. So October 1st starts the fun.
Now, here's the real challenge for Shaq. She has to win September, become a standard collection, and then get first place during harvest season
Oh,
and be the first one to get the limited collection. So
Ooh,
Shaq, you
Oh.
have your work cut out for you.
ooh, spooky and wicked.
Yeah. I'm all in for Creedmoor. Creedmoor's been my Halloween hood for a couple years now, so I'm all in. I like this because I get to for me, I get to pick 6 homes, and I get to say, all right, fall, I'm going hard on Creedmoor every year, and I gotta see where my alliances fall. I gotta pick some season for Merced Manor in here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I gotta pick a season for Quailwood because Quailwood's one of my
August
goods as well.
anniversary.
So
Yeah.
I guess I'm taking applications for the other 3. But this
I love the big Upland friendship, right? We each
yeah.
have our thing that we do, but we come together, and it's a great team.
Yeah, and even though it starts the path where we say, okay, we already have been good friends and we are caring for each other's neighborhoods, but we do need to focus on our own from now on. It's also a
Yeah.
good moment for or another possibility of helping each other because of those precise ornaments. They don't specify, or they do specify that you can ornament your properties in another uh, collection neighborhood to help them. It doesn't affect yours.
Yeah. I think
So
that's good. It's
yeah.
also it de-incentivizes that whole like I'm going to move all of my map assets from here to here to here, because before there was no downside to moving those map assets out of a hood. Once it got its collection status, that was it. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to I think it may actually encourage people to do actual decorating, because they're like, well, once I put them here, they're going to stay here. Because before it was just like map asset spew
Right.
everywhere.
Where do I put them?
but now here's the other thing is you got to make sure that, okay, you just said you're going to pick seasons for these different neighborhoods that you're aligned with, but you know, it might take a little bit to work it. So you can't neglect yours enough that you're losing. So you got to make sure that yours doesn't finish last. It's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out and how people figure out how long they can spend away from their neighborhood with people from their team away from the neighborhood to make sure that you're maintaining and you're competing.
Yeah, it adds a lot more thought to the whole process, and yeah, I like it. It's
I'm not
Yeah.
sure that you can do more than 2 neighborhood, maybe 3 at the max. I don't know. That's my initial thoughts. It can change as we see how everything plays out, but this is going to make you really choose where you're going to spend a lot of time, spend a lot of your time, spend a lot of your sparklet, spend a lot of, decorating.
Well, now it's interesting because we don't know what the criteria will be yet, right? We don't know what it will be based on for the second tier. Am I wrong? Rock, we don't know yet, right?
No, definitely. And they did stated that they will be upgrading and checking if they need to change things. But yeah, it's open table.
So there's just a lot we don't know, which makes it fun and exciting.
Also, Capam from Cosme Velo just throwed me a rock into between my eyes, and I was like, "Wow, shit!" So not sure, but when Spark changed to Sparklet, it might have changed the way that the average Spark hours into the neighborhoods affected the algorithm, because before, when it was Spark, we were sure that it was after inaugurating your property because we made a lot of tests around it. But also Capam made some tests and even contacted support and Upland, and they answered, and they said basically, yeah, it's Spark invested into the neighborhood. But unfortunately, this all changed today.
Yeah. Well, I just noticed something else just as we were on. Before we had like a number, right? And everybody was winning with like 13 point something or 14 point something. Well, in this article, it says neighborhoods will be evaluated based on their season over season percentage growth in their rating
Right.
score. So it's not how much your rating score grows, it's how much it grows over the previous season, just over that season.
Mm.
So it goes to a percentage rather than a finite number, which that's a whole nother
Yeah.
thing that
Yeah.
now is scrambling my brains as I'm reading this. That's cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think you can leave your neighborhood too long.
It's going to
Right.
get very interesting and hopefully a lot more better than the previous ratings that we all used to complain about. And, yeah, hopefully they hopefully they will learn about it and upgrade until we get to that ultra rare status. But yeah, very interesting how they are planning it. Let's go for it.
Let's go.
Oh, do you have any predictions for the upcoming hood contest, Rock?
It's Maje, so I would think, yeah, I would think. I cannot know because I did give them within my feedback an ample parentheses where they could input their own, so I couldn't know about it. I love the Wrecker's idea of having Creedmoor jumping twice in
That's
here.
my prediction. I have faith.
I
I believe.
I cannot predict anything because the data and the algorithm is completely new based on everything. So and it's the first day. How no, but yeah, I love that prediction from Recareer. I'm sticking to it probably, and I'll convince all Quailwood to help Creedmoor.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Thanks,
love it.
guys. I love it.
It's awesome.
All right. Thank you. Thank everyone for joining the impromptu panel on the new neighborhood ratings. I'm very excited for that.
Thank you for bringing us on.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Man, that hour went quick. And I really wanted to hear ThankMeLater's take on it. And you could tell due to what was going on in his life, he had no idea what it went through. So maybe we'll catch up as we get into the next season and seeing how things are transpiring there. So
yeah, he's gonna actually have to listen back to this week's episode because
we've
they
been doing this for 4.5 years and he hasn't listened or watched one episode. It's not going to start now.
just tell him there's a way to get badges, but I'm not going to tell you how unless you listen.
Oh,
That would make him definitely watch it.
that is true.
Yeah,
That is true.
There's some they took a swing at really gamifying some things here, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
yep,
I think
definitely.
it's good. I think
Interesting.
the only other thing they announced was the planes, the bridging in for the planes.
Yes.
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 Yeah, but that just seems like
That's a pay to win.
that's
Bridge in
pay to
as
win,
much
yeah.
sparklet as you want, and you can win an airplane. So that's a pay to win for me. And there's nothing wrong with pay to win, and you get an airplane. But I'm out.
Yeah. Well, I bridged all my budget for what I was going to go buy in during the first challenge, and unfortunately, being in the US, I like couldn't qualify for like 90% of the cool stuff. So I've been a Corvette fan my whole life, and the Bickett replica is like an old style Corvette replica. I wanted that so bad, and I couldn't go after it. But one of the guys on Metaverse Racing actually got one, so that was really cool. So
I'm so glad that you like Corvettes. You're the first person I've found that loves Corvettes. I love them too.
Oh yeah. It started. When I was a kid, my parents put like race car wallpaper on my wall, and it had all kinds of different stuff, and I just gravitated towards the Corvettes. I've been a Chevrolet guy in general, but I really like Corvettes too.
Corvettes are gorgeous cars.
Yeah, they are.
So Swarley, you were not allowed to participate. Bickett doesn't allow US person. So US people who participated did it through some means that they
bought them
a Bickett account. Maybe they VPN'd in. Maybe they are based in the US, but somehow
they have a different nationality
entity outside of the US. But however they managed to do it, I would have had to jump through some hoops that I wasn't comfortable jumping through to trick Bickett into giving me an account. So, yes, people who live in the US.
It was Ninja, of course.
But I didn't want to, because you had to link your Bickett account to your Upland account, and it just seemed too risky for me to try and mess up. I've got way too much into Upland to try and mess it up with some goofiness like that. So,
or have the SEC knocking on your door.
Yeah. Well, also being a project owner and all of that stuff, I got to play stuff pretty straight.
Yeah.
So,
see, should have just been a ninja.
See,
yeah,
I am not nearly as smooth as a ninja. I don't look like a ninja. I don't move like a ninja.
All right.
You don't crowd like a ninja.
No, I'm more like a Mack truck than a ninja.
See, you do okay. You do okay in prison. Rock and I would have some problems. So,
yeah.
I'd have problems in prison too.
Yeah, because people wouldn't give you the things that you want.
Be very sad.
Everyone
all right.
go to prison. That's my financial advice. Avoid going to prison.
Avoid going to prison.
Yes.
The more you know. All right. Rock, Recurrier, Shaq, thank you so much for joining this week. Everybody, have fun. Be safe. We'll see you out there in the metaverse. Till next week.
The UPX Podcast with the property expert. If it's happening in Upland, it's the place you want to check first. With your host who's stupid to win and thank me later. Bringing the strategy, news, and cool charts with all the data. This is Upland, where the metaverse goes down. Genesis, San Fran, to Rio, and all around. Don't miss a week, you never know what they'll say next. It's the Upland property experts, baby.